The champagne glasses clinked softly as Lauren Bennett placed another gift on the growing pile beside her chair. At 7 months pregnant, she glowed under the soft afternoon light streaming through the windows of her childhood home. Her mother had hung pastel banners across the living room, and the scent of vanilla cake filled the air. Lauren's hand rested on her rounded belly as she laughed at her best friend's joke about diaper duty. Then the doorbell rang sharp, urgent, unexpected. Her younger brother opened it to find 2 uniformed officers standing on the porch, their faces unreadable. "We're looking for Lauren Bennett," one said. The room fell silent. Lauren struggled to stand, her pregnancy making every movement deliberate. "I'm Lauren," she said, confusion washing over her face. "What's going on?" The taller officer stepped forward, his expression professionally neutral. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for theft. You have the right to remain silent." Gasps rippled through the room. Lauren's mother, Diane, shot to her feet. "There has to be a mistake," she said, her voice rising. "My daughter hasn't stolen anything." "No mistake," the officer replied. "Your son-in-law, Marcus Bennett, filed a report. He claims you withdrew $250 from a joint account without authorization." Lauren's breath caught. "Marcus? But that's our money. I used it for groceries and baby things." The officer's expression softened slightly, but he approached with handcuffs. "Please turn around, ma'am. She's 7 months pregnant." Her brother shouted. "You can't be serious." "We have our orders," the second officer said quietly. Though he avoided Lauren's eyes as the cold metal closed around her wrists, loosely, carefully, Lauren felt her world tilt. Tears blurred her vision as they led her through the living room. Past the half-opened gifts, past the cake decorated with tiny footprints made of frosting, past the shocked faces of everyone she loved. Her best friend was already recording on her phone, hands trembling. "This is insane," she whispered. "Please," Lauren begged as they guided her toward the door. "Let me call Marcus. He'll tell you this is a misunderstanding. You can make your call from the station," the officer said gently. Diane grabbed her purse, tears streaming down her face. "I'm following you, sweetheart. We'll fix this." As the cruiser door closed, Lauren glimpsed the banner still hanging cheerfully. "Welcome, baby Bennett." The police station was cold and impersonal. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead as they processed Lauren like any other suspect: fingerprints, photographs, paperwork. Other detainees stared at her swollen belly with expressions ranging from pity to disbelief. "One phone call," the processing officer said, leading her to a payphone. With shaking hands, Lauren dialed Marcus's number. It rang once, twice, 3 times before clicking to voicemail. "Marcus," she whispered into the receiver. "What did you do?" "I'm at the police station. I'm in jail. Please, just tell them this was a mistake. Call me back." But hours crawled by with no response. Diane and her brother arrived, frantic and furious. But the desk sergeant delivered the crushing news. "Bail hearings Monday morning. Judge doesn't work Sundays." "It's Saturday evening," Lauren said, her voice hollow. "You're saying I have to stay here?" "2 nights," the sergeant confirmed without sympathy. They led her to a holding cell. The reality crashed over her like ice water. She was 7 months pregnant and spending the weekend in jail because her husband had accused her of stealing their own money. Her cellmate, a woman named Cassie with tired eyes and faded tattoos, looked at Lauren's belly and shook her head. "Let me guess, your man put you here?" Lauren nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. "Mine did something similar last year," Cassie said. "Wanted me out of the way for the weekend. Turned out his girlfriend was coming to visit from out of state." The words hit Lauren like a punch. She thought about Marcus, lately distant, secretive with his phone, working late more often. She blamed it on stress about the baby. "No," she whispered. "Marcus wouldn't." Cassie's laugh was bitter. That's what we all say, honey. The metal bunk felt like concrete beneath Lauren's aching back. She hadn't slept, her baby kicked constantly, as if sensing her distress. The jail-issued uniform barely stretched over her belly, and she'd left it partially unzipped. Breakfast arrived at dawn. Rubbery eggs and stale toast that turned her stomach. But she forced herself to eat, each bite for the baby's sake. You need your strength, Cassie said, watching her struggle. That little one doesn't care where you are. Lauren placed a protective hand over her belly. I just can't believe Marcus would do this. We've been married 5 years. This is our first child. How long's he been acting different? Cassie asked. Lauren thought back. Maybe 6 weeks. He said work was stressing him, layoffs coming, restructuring. 6 weeks, Cassie repeated knowingly. That's usually when they meet someone new. Takes about that long for guilt to turn into resentment. A guard appeared at the cell. Bennett, you have a visitor? Hope surged through Lauren. Maybe Marcus had come to fix this nightmare, but it was her brother, Kyle, waiting in the visitation room, his face pale and angry. I've been calling Marcus all night. Phone goes straight to voicemail now. I drove by your house, his truck's gone. Gone? Lauren's stomach dropped. Mrs. Chun next door said she saw him leave with luggage yesterday afternoon, right before the police showed up at Mom's. The room spun. He'd planned this. He'd known exactly when they'd arrest her, orchestrating maximum humiliation. Mom's working on bail money, Kyle continued. We'll have you out tomorrow. And Janet Garcia, that lawyer who helped Aunt Teresa, she's taking your case. I need you to do something, Lauren said, her voice steadier than she felt. Go to the house. Check Marcus's office. Check everything. Sunday brought cramping. Lauren doubled over on the bunk, panic seizing her chest. Something's wrong, she gasped. The baby. The guard called for medical. The jail nurse arrived quickly, checking Lauren's vitals and the baby's heartbeat with obvious concern. It's stress, the nurse said quietly. You need to calm down for your baby's sake. I'm recommending immediate release on medical grounds, but it's Sunday. Nothing happens until tomorrow. Tomorrow might be too late, Lauren whispered. The nurse squeezed her hand. Your baby's heartbeat is strong. Just breathe. Rest. I'll check on you every hour. True to her word, the nurse returned regularly. By evening, the cramping had eased, but Lauren knew she couldn't take much more. Her baby needed her to be strong, to be somewhere safe. Cassie was released Sunday afternoon. Before leaving, she squeezed Lauren's shoulder. Document everything. Every pain, every moment of fear. Make him pay for what he did to you and that baby. Lauren borrowed paper and a pencil from another inmate and began writing. Wrongful arrest while 7 months pregnant. Inadequate medical care. Emotional distress. False accusations. She wrote until her hand cramped, capturing every detail. Monday morning arrived like salvation. When the guard finally came to release her, Lauren could barely stand. She'd lost weight in just 3 days. Her face gaunt from stress and sleeplessness. Diane and Kyle were waiting, both crying as they helped her walk out. Never again, Diane said fiercely. That man will never hurt you again. As they drove away, Lauren looked back once at the building. 3 days had felt like 3 years. But something had changed inside her during those endless hours. The trusting wife who'd entered that place was gone. Did you find anything at the house? She asked Kyle. His face darkened. Oh, we found plenty. The house felt hollow when Lauren walked through the door. Same furniture, same photographs, but the warmth had evaporated. It was just walls and things now. Kyle's wife, Sophia, was waiting with a box of documents. Sit down, Lauren. You need to see this. Lauren lowered herself onto the couch, still aching. Diane brought her water and insisted she eat before they talked. Credit card statements first, Sophia said, spreading papers across the coffee table. That $250 Marcus accused you of stealing? Look at this charge from 2 days before your arrest. She pointed to a line item, Riverside Jewelers, $247. I never got jewelry, Lauren said, confusion clouding her face. We know. We called the store. They remembered Marcus. He bought diamond earrings. Said they were for someone special. The words hung poisonously in the air. There's more, Sophia continued, pulling out printed bank statements. Restaurants you've never been to. Hotel charges when he claimed he was at a conference in Seattle. That conference was in Portland. Kyle pulled out his phone. Mrs. Chun has been helpful. She's seen a woman coming by when you're at work. Red sedan, arrives around lunchtime, leaves before you get home. Lauren closed her eyes, but she forced herself to ask. Description? Blonde, late 20s, always dressed up. Kyle said carefully. Lauren's attorney, Janet Garcia, arrived within the hour, a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s who'd built a reputation defending wrong spouses. I've reviewed the arrest report, Janet said without preamble. This is one of the most vindictive things I've seen. And I've seen plenty. She reviewed the evidence Kyle and Sophia had gathered, occasionally making approving sounds. This is excellent work. The credit card charges especially. He's admitted in his spending patterns that he was planning to leave. Janet worked quickly. Within days, she'd filed for emergency protective orders, frozen the joint accounts Marcus hadn't already emptied, and begun building both criminal and civil cases. He withdrew $14,000 while you were in jail. Janet told Lauren during their meeting. That money was earmarked for medical expenses and the baby. That's theft. Lauren felt sick. $14,000? And he's been planning this for months. Janet showed her rental agreements, credit applications, evidence of a secret apartment lease signed 3 weeks before Lauren's arrest. But the worst came when Kyle hacked into Marcus's laptop with Janet's careful legal guidance. The emails were damning. Messages to a woman named Brittany going back 2 months. The most recent made Lauren's blood run cold. Babe, just a few more days and we're free. Elle will be out of the picture by Saturday, and I can file while she's inside. The baby thing is unfortunate, but I never wanted kids anyway. That was her dream, not mine. Lauren printed everything, her hands steady despite the rage building inside. Every message, every plan they'd made while she was preparing for their baby. He never wanted our child, she whispered. Then, he doesn't deserve to be a father, Janet said firmly. We're going to use everything he's done against him. That night, local news picked up the story. The video from Lauren's baby shower, her being led away in handcuffs while visibly pregnant, went viral. Public outrage exploded. Marcus's employer called Janet's office. They were opening an investigation into his expense accounts after the publicity made them look closer at their rising star. And Brittany? She was married. Her husband was very interested in the evidence of her affair. Lauren realized something profound as she held the stack of printed emails. Marcus had destroyed himself. She'd just helped expose it. The criminal case moved swiftly. The district attorney, energized by public pressure and clear evidence, charged Marcus with filing a false police report, theft, and reckless endangerment of a pregnant woman. Marcus hired an expensive lawyer, burning through his savings. Meanwhile, Lauren's case was rock solid. The trial was brief. The prosecutor presented the timeline with surgical precision. The affair, the secret accounts, the planned arrest, the theft while Lauren was incarcerated. When Brittany testified, she'd made a deal for reduced charges. She threw Marcus completely under the bus. He said his wife was unstable, that she'd stolen before. I believed him, but the emails proved otherwise. Brittany had known everything. Lauren's testimony was powerful. She described the humiliation of being arrested at her baby shower, the terror of 3 nights in jail, the medical crisis that could have cost her baby's life. "I thought I was losing my child," she said quietly, tears flowing. "All because my husband wanted to be with someone else." Several jurors were crying. Marcus's defense crumbled. He came across as arrogant and entitled, trying to justify his actions by claiming Lauren was controlling. "So your solution was to have your pregnant wife arrested?" the prosecutor asked. Marcus had no good answer. The jury deliberated 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. At sentencing, the judge was harsh. "Mr. Bennett, your callous disregard for your wife and unborn child is appalling. You could have caused irreparable harm. You're sentenced to 15 months, 3 years probation, and ordered to pay $85,000 in restitution." As officers led Marcus away, he looked back at Lauren. She was holding their newborn daughter, born healthy 2 weeks after the trial ended. For a moment, their eyes met. Lauren felt no satisfaction, only relief. Justice had been served. She'd named her daughter Hope. 2 years later, Lauren stood in the lobby of Bennett Financial Consulting, her company, built from the settlement money and her own determination. The name was hers to reclaim, and she had. She specialized in helping women navigate financial abuse during divorce. Business was thriving. Hope, now a bright-eyed toddler, played in the office's child-friendly waiting area. She'd never known her father. Lauren had successfully terminated Marcus's parental rights after his conviction. "Mama," Hope called, holding up a toy. "I see. Baby." Lauren smiled, continuing her consultation with a new client, a woman whose husband had tried something similar. The local paper had featured Lauren's success story that morning. The article focused on her business achievements, mentioning only briefly that she'd overcome personal challenges. That's what Lauren wanted to be known for, her strength, not just her trauma. She'd heard Marcus was out of prison, working minimum wage jobs. His career was destroyed, his reputation ruined. Brittany had moved away after her own divorce. They destroyed each other for nothing. Sometimes, Lauren thought about that day at her baby shower, the moment everything changed. She could have let it break her. Instead, she'd let it forge her into something stronger. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. She almost deleted it, then recognized it was from Marcus. "I'm sorry for everything. I see Hope on your website. She's beautiful. I destroyed my life for nothing. You were the best thing I had." Lauren read it once, then deleted it without responding. Marcus's regret meant nothing now. That evening, as she tucked Hope into bed, her daughter asked, "Mama, are you happy?" "Yes, sweetheart. Happier than I've ever been." And she meant it. Her revenge wasn't bitterness. It was building a life so full of joy that the past couldn't touch it. That was true justice.